Well, I think it's high time I got my backside into gear and did a bit more moth trapping. I've been very lax of late, can't find the interest to run the trap even from the garden, but spurred on potentially by being brought to Nottinghamshire's third dark crimson underwing to photograph tomorrow, I've decided to get me act in order and get the trap out. It's very warm, August the 15th, and of course this is my back garden, a terraced house, a well planted terraced house in the middle of Market Warsop, so we'll see what's on offer tonight. Very warm, potential for thunderstorms apparently, but I've seen no sign of distant lightning, so I think it's going to stay dry. Well, this is the 15th of August, so we're slap bang in the middle of August. Hot weather that we've had for about the last week or so is coming to an end. It's going to end in thunderstorms. Potentially, some places in the UK have had thunderstorms. We've had nothing today at all. Nothing for about a fortnight now. Whether these thunderstorms will encourage anything in is doubtful, because I think they're coming from the north. But there is another migrant in. There's two migrant species in tonight, silver wide, which have dropped in and settled down as they've come from the valerian, but some do drop in. But there's a migrant moth, and that's Prutella xylostella, which is the diamond-back moth, which is very attractive. Well, can be some individuals, and this is a very fresh one that's come in. It's the first one this year, actually. Yeah, usually that's the most commonest of the migrants. But otherwise, it seems to be quiet at the moment. But it's early days. It's only really just got to the point of darkness. We've got a temperature of about 23 centigrade. Look at the thermometer on the wall. Something will drop in, I'm sure, that's new for the garden. Something exciting. Now I've come late to the party, and my enthusiasm is developing again. Well, this is the view from the trap, so to speak. Two nicely flowering clumps of valerian, which have attracted two, possibly three hummingbird hawk moths between 1955 and 2015 this evening. There's a number of silver wires that have been nectaring as well, and some have come into light. It's surprising though that you may think that silver wires that do nectar here in the garden come straight to the light, but they don't. They tend to be very brief in the garden once they're fed up, and then off they go. Now we're in the middle of August, of course. We're not going to have a terrific species list, but I'm sure there's going to be something interesting tonight. Maybe we can increase the garden species list. We'll see what turns up. Well, it remains quiet. I've had, well, just approaching 30 species, because garden carpet has just come in. but I'll just go through a list of some of the moths that have turned up, and I'll put photos in so you know what the species look like if you're new to moth trapping. And I know one or two people that are relatively new to moth trapping do watch this channel. The commonest moth in is the micro light brown apple moth, which is Epiphyus postritana, and that's a moth you need to get used to, really. Don't be frightened of micros, but Epiphyus postritana, you'll trap numbers of them from an urban garden. Away from an urban garden, I always found them to be as rare as hen's teeth, to be honest. Rarely ever recorded them. It's a variable species as well, so one that you need to sort of learn. Very contrastingly marked. No two examples are really the same. Looking through the list of macros that I've got, there's nothing really of interest. The rarest in terms of garden records are turnip moth, which I rarely get here, and iron prominent, which is another moth that I rarely ever trap in the garden. Small ranunculus, second brood, that arrived and then very quickly went. Very attractive moth, small ranunculus. But apart from that, it's just the usual mid to late August fare. Well, that was a species that I'd forgot about, actually, that I've just written down. Large yellow underwing. Normally, August is renowned for the light being bombarded by large numbers of large yellow underwings. And when I say bombarded, that's exactly what they do. They must have steel crash helmets on, because I don't know how they don't smash themselves to smithereens, because they'll come thudding into the light or hit the wall or the yard, but remain perfectly unscathed. They're the real sort of brutes of the moth trapping world, and if you leave a trap overnight, like a Robinson trap where your moths are collected and remain in there till you get up in the morning and sort through them, if you've got a lot of large yellow underwings in that trap, it can decimate everything else. Carpets and all the micros, they stand no chance against a trap full of large yellow underwings. But in the yellow underwings, there's numerous species, and they're all pretty much absent at the moment, as an old lady drops in. That's the view from the trap of a rising moon. There's no thunderstorms coming over Nottinghamshire tonight. At least not in the next few hours. There's no sign of anything, no flashes in the sky distantly. But it remains quiet. Not a great deal coming in. Well, it's just gone midnight, and it's a quiet evening. Nothing particularly notable that's turned up. Although saying that, there is one plume moth that I've potted up, and that does look interesting, actually, and that may well be a new species for the garden, and I don't think it's a species that I've seen before, actually. But that's to be photographed in the morning once it's light, and then we'll see if we can determine what it is. But apart from that, just your typical late August fare that you'd expect. But that's the joy of moth trapping. You don't know what you're going to get, or how many of them you're going to get. But without a doubt, I would have expected far higher numbers of moths than what I've actually had, and that's a quite common theme at the moment. Certainly locally here in Nottinghamshire, many people are reporting quite low numbers of moths on really good favourable nights. Tomorrow it's forecasted to be very showery, but the wind direction is from the north, so it's unlikely anything exciting will be coming in due to those showers and thunderstorms. But we'll see.